WFH with two guys. Now here's Benny and Dennis.
We're seeing AI everywhere, and in some cases, I'm not sure why AI is necessarily being added to certain things, but there's a lot of stuff that's going on, and the practical applications that we have in our daily lives and just how we conduct our business. It's super interesting.
It is. I mean, you turned me on to it probably a year ago, and I didn't know much about it. And now I've signed up for a couple different applications and things I use it for. And it's amazing how much it makes my life so much easier on some just things that I was never really good at. I mean, writing long dissertations are not something I like to do. And I'm more of a bullet point person where I can give bullet points and then it kicks back a great verbiage that is like, wow, I wish I could have said that. And so it really helps there. And the other piece, is how does AI fit in with data and process and all this other stuff? And there's so much things that can go on in today's world that it's really cool where it's going.
Yeah. So today we have Matt Kroll and Mir Ateeb Ali with Chalmers St Consulting. Now, these guys are all about process improvement, but they have really interesting insight in terms of how they're using AI, what we're seeing in terms of applications that you could use, even if you are not working on process improvement. I think this is a really interesting talk, not only from understanding how they're using it and some things that they're doing, but we're also dipping a little bit into what's possibly coming down the road. I think this is a really interesting topic. Dennis, my favorite topic, as you always know, is going to be artificial intelligence, AI. It's just the topic of the decade.
And then my favorite topic is process improvement. Mm-hmm. So today we kind of merged the two of them to talk about how AI and process improvement go together.
Yeah. And I think this is a really interesting topic because the thing that I hear all the time, because people, and most people nowadays are familiar enough with ChatGPT and what OpenAI has done and some of the progress that's been made. People have typically messed around with it and they understand a little bit, but from an actual application standpoint, how do you actually use it? How are the things that these tools give us? How can we use them in our daily lives, not only in business, but maybe in our personal lives too as well? But I think this is a really interesting topic. So, hey, Matt and Mir, tell us a little bit in what would be like from the tool of AI. How are you all using that, and what are some of the ways that you've found ways to really exercise artificial intelligence? Is it?
Mir, I'm going to let you take that one first. I think you have a little bit more of the practical experience.
So I think one of the biggest applications that we have currently for AI or AI tools is how do you create PowerPoint presentations, right? Like typically someone spends minimum 3 to 4 hours creating a PowerPoint slide deck, all that fancy templates, customizing it to the use case. We have solutions out there. I'm going to give you examples. You have beautiful.ai that you can use. There's another one, Microsoft Copilot, it's a plugin to the current PowerPoint application itself. You can literally go in there and put in your text, like what exactly, for example, I create a sales deck or create a, executive summary that I'm supposed to give in the next 5 minutes or 10 minutes. It'll actually create that for you. Again, it's not a 100% perfect deck. You need to go in there and customize it to your need. But then you'll have the template. You'll have the flow created. It takes down a time that would usually take about 8 hours to create a perfect deck to a couple of hours. Like in 1 or 2 hours, you'll have your presentation created to your liking, all done and dusted.
Yeah, and if I could just add to that, I think that's part of the. So there's a lot of buzz around this, and you see companies promoting their AI enhanced tools, and you kind of have to know, well, what's the problem I'm really trying to solve with this, before you kind of get sold on their newest AI, and then to Mir's point, it is more augmented intelligence rather than artificial intelligence, and that's not my phrase. That was someone from IBM that was calling it that. It's augmented intelligence because it's often giving you a starting point or maybe cleaning something up for you, but it's not doing it for you. It's an efficiency game.
I mean, I think back to when I was in high school. There was a girl by the name of Linda Barrow that used to help me write all my papers. She was my AI back in 1978 because now it's like it writes it fast and quick, and I mean it's just amazing because you can put a thought in there and what comes out it's like that's what I wanted to say, but I couldn't
It's
type
Linda
it that way.
GPT.
Yeah.
Invented something there.
It's funny that you should say that because working with different, whether it be Google or Microsoft tools or even like Notion, I'm starting to see the little symbol that I'm starting to recognize is like the AI, it looks like stars or whatever. It's like AI enhance and click here to have an AI do that work. And sometimes I think, oh, that's really cool. That's really helpful, especially with like what Microsoft's doing with Copilot. But in other instances, I'm like, really, what is AI going to do for me here? We're kind of going through a period right now where we're seeing AI enhance everything. But is that going to further expand, or do you guys think it's going to it'll calm down? We don't really need to enhance my recipe or what I'm doing to figure out what movie I'm going to watch or something.
Yeah, I mean, to your point, AI has been around since the early 90s, I would say. It just got better and better. It became more advanced. You wouldn't believe the first, these autonomous vehicles these days. The first concept was introduced back in 1970s. They created a autonomous car. They call it the Stanford car. And that kind of got built up on the first driverless car. Like, one of the conditions of the driverless car was there should not be any obstacle on the road, which definitely got better since the 1980s. So to answer your question, Benny, I think so. It's going to get more advanced to what it is right now. Maybe, especially when it comes to electric cars, we might even get to a point where there'll be recognition out on the street will actually tell you before even a vehicle approaches. It's a projection that shows you, okay, fine, vehicle might approach, stay safe or something. You don't know, anything crazy like that can happen. It's and not only from that autonomous driving experiences, even you take Siri these days, even if you have a conversation in a room, they'll start recommending you stuff. You have a conversation about batteries, and next thing you know, Google is recommending you, oh, you know what? It's about time to get batteries or something. So
It's listening. It's
listening. I mean, it is concerning, but at the same time, it catches on to certain catchphrases and then makes suggestions. So it is evolving, I would say, 10 years from now.
Yes, someone related it to the early days of the internet. Where everybody wanted a website, but they weren't really sure how it translated into business, right, or something productive. And nowadays, I don't think we don't think twice about the fact that the internet gives us all kinds of productivity advances. AI is kind of like that right now. It's a solution searching for the right problem, but it is better. I mean, there's clearly problems that it does solve for us in that space of improving how we communicate, simplifying the front end of maybe creating a PowerPoint deck or something like that. There's clear efficiency gains from it, but we're still really doing a lot of learning. And I think, for your listeners, it means that you do have to stay close to this, because what is true today in 6 months will be. I actually just got off the phone with somebody who said, Matt, can you even imagine what we're going to have in 10 years? And the reality is, I can't. It's moving so fast. You really do have to keep your finger on the pulse.
It's amazing because I watched this topic like a hawk, and and things that were new and fresh literally just a couple months ago are kind of old hat now, and it's moving at such a fast speed. We used to say that at the speed of internet, now it's the speed of artificial intelligence. It's just so much faster, I think. So, but let's talk about this for a sec, if I could, and because I know this is kind of going to be, especially for you, but how can we effectively use artificial intelligence in process improvement, in being able to, how can we use this so it's not It's so easy to have everything we were talking about before, everything AI enhanced or AI enriched or whatever. But how can we actually really practically use that to improve some of the processes that we're doing in our business today?
Let me kind of give a specific example that we're doing at Chalmers Street, and then Mir, if you've got some other ones that you can add as well. We're a process improvement company that focuses on people development, the people development side of seeing problems, solving problems. And we've created some tools to help people do basic things, better 5 whys, problem statements. And so we call that our CI Mastermind platform. And something as simple as problem statements is often a challenge in the business space because people work problems that aren't aligned, right? I think it's this issue, you think it's that issue. And the reason why we're not aligned is we haven't written it down in a clear, concise way, right? And so anyone that's been through any kind of Six Sigma training knows, there's specific questions that we'll ask to write a good problem statement. The what, the how much, and so on, the why. And so, we translate that into a guide for people that use our tool. One of the ways that we've now enhanced that is we've added an AI check. So once a user has put those answers together and then come up with a statement around those answers, we check it against ChatGPT, and it goes, did the person really answer all of these questions inside of their problem statement? Is that problem statement, concise, 1 or 2 sentences? And if not, it'll return something better. Now, that's something that we used to do, a black belt or a master black belt used to review these and give that kind of feedback. And now we're doing it automatically. And I think that's the near-term opportunity with AI is taking things that you've written, improving those things, taking things that you want other people to know how to write better, and querying the AI to evaluate and say, is everything that's supposed to be in this answer in there? So that's a real practical way that we're currently using it.
Mir, do you have any thoughts on that too?
Yeah, one of the other things we are kind of working around is when it comes to process improvement, a lot of this stuff is based on how do process observations, you do a bunch of time studies, some of the foundational grunt work that you do, right? So currently, how do you do it? You have people going in there, spending hours on the floor, taking down notes. There is a new application that we are testing out where you can have cameras out there, and the cameras will pick on all the KPIs that you can think of. And there's also Google is testing out something called Gemini Pro 1.5. I'm not sure if they have released it yet or not. But you can actually upload a recording, and it has a limit of an hour. It'll break it down all like per frame, and you can ask questions. You can ask all your sophisticated reasoning and problem solving tasks. It'll actually tell you, like, okay, fine. A machine is throwing out products out there. What's my uptime? What's my downtime? You don't have to do the observation manually, and that real-time automation can be achieved with AI applications. And that is currently what we are testing.
And in the past, really still in the present, right? If you want to do process observation, you're either going to have someone stand and watch the process, right? Or you're going to video the process and have a human being review that later. This technology is now taking actually even more than what the human can do, because it can take some basic security camera video and know this is, Bob, this is Cindy, right? And it can see that based on how the person's walking and some other things, so that you can see people's path through the work environment, and you can see how long specific tasks are taking. That's all stuff that we used to do manually, that now is going to be so the wealth of information that's going to start to become available to us is it's mind-boggling, and our ability to collect that information in a very inexpensive way, start to make better decisions based on it. That's going to be amazing. But it is, again, back to my earlier point, we're in that stage of development where I don't know, the applications are not fully developed. The use cases are not fully tested. There's a lot of learning that's going on right now.
But Matt, as you to your point, as you kind of look ahead, though, this is where large companies would do all this case studies and all that stuff, where small companies kind of just had to go off the gut. As this evolves, that's even going to allow small companies to be even more nimble and be able to jump and change, because they'll be able to implement some of these AI tools that before they couldn't afford to hire consultants come in. Now I can pop this thing in. I can have Matt come in and evaluate this and put that human touch to it.
The phrase, Dennis, that I just heard recently is descaling, meaning that where we spent the 20th century globalizing, scaling massive mega companies, a lot of these tools they're democratizing information. It's taking what used to be very costly to gather and making it more available to a larger group of people, making companies that probably couldn't compete locally even 10 years ago can all of a sudden compete locally. It's sort of amazing what's occurring in the marketplace. And we're just seeing the seeds of that right now.
Now I'm just going to add that it's making information more transparent and more global. It's easier to now, even in analytics, right? You have Copilot these days. You can run any Excel spreadsheet, give you basic analytics, ask it questions, a bunch of data set, ask it questions that you want answers for. Copilot will give you that. You don't actually have to do the grunt work.
And the challenge that Mir and I run into in the operations space constantly is data quality. The information inside the system that I'm using to aggregate and create visuals and make decisions from, it's not always clean. And the reason why we're experimenting with this new tool and this AI tool is because we believe we're going to get much cleaner information if we can take manual entry, certain scans and things like that out of it, and just have the AI capture it off of video. So I think data quality, data cleanliness is going to be another outcome that comes from this. Again, we're at the front end of it, but that's where this is going and what people have to pay attention to so they can be part of having a much cleaner data set to make decisions from.
As Ed mentioned to you guys, and this is really interesting, the evolution of where we're going to go with AI, it's impossible to predict. Where this is going to be going even a year from now, much less 5 or 10 years from now. Who knows what AI is going to look like? But I'm going to ask you guys to put on your future-looking glasses and hats and all this.
I thought a stipulation was I don't make predictions.
No, you got to. We're going to hold you to it.
All right.
So what would you say you see on the horizon in terms of, even if it's a short term, as AI gets better and it gets cleaner and we move toward AGI, artificial general intelligence, which is kind of that ubiquitous panacea, what people are talking about, where AI can do everything, is expert in everywhere. What do you guys see down the road, for how we could use this, how we can use it for process improvement, how we can use it for our daily lives? You guys have any thoughts on that?
I have one. I want to hear Mir first, and then I want to hear Mir's response to mine after that. So Mir, do you have one before I go?
The one biggest thing is actually when it comes to, as management consultants, you deal with a lot of data. You deal with a lot of information insights that you are required to pull from bigger data sets. That time that you take, the manual task can absolutely be reduced by, let's say, half with some of the tools that's currently out there and some of the tools that are being developed. In educational fields, how people are visual learners, and any human beings are visual learners. There are tools that are coming, for example, Sora is an open AI text-to-video creator that's about to get launched. Mm-hmm. And that's going to revolutionize gaming, education industry, you name it. You can create ultra HD quality videos just by a prompt. So that is super powerful. As I said, in education, you can talk about your personal, your professional lives. when it comes to data rendering, when it comes to presenting out in a more meaningful way your data stories. There are websites out there, there are AI tools out there where you can throw in a bunch of data, it'll give you a data story in a very pleasing user interface. So yeah, Matt, back to you.
So I think there's a few things that are going to happen. One is an interaction between information security and these large language models. And I think the big companies, Google, Microsoft, Amazon, are going to create their own internal AI model. Now, I've heard that you need a ton of data, and even those companies aren't big enough. But I don't know. This is just Matt's guess. Like, you're asking me to look into the crystal ball, because they're not going to want their data inside of ChatGPT, right? Someone at Samsung got in big trouble for this. They're putting their strategy inside of ChatGPT and create me, a slide deck or something out of it. Like, that's just not going to. But they are going to want to extract the value of putting their institutional knowledge inside of a huge data set that people can query, right? So that I can go, I'm 2 weeks into my job, and people keep using, a term or a phrase that I don't understand, right? I can quickly get an answer out of that. And the company doesn't have to go create a glossary, which some do, and maintain a glossary. They just shove it all into this huge large language model. I think that's also going to come downscale. So one of the things that I'd like to be able to do, I've got a ton of content. I create content all the time. I'd like to shove that all into one of these models so that someone can do an Ask Matt, and Matt doesn't actually have to answer. It goes through all of the different things that I've written and sends back something that sounds like or comes from my content, and would be sort of naturally come from something that I might say. And I think that's not very far down the road. I think that's something that could be coming soon. And Mir's shaking his head yes, so I think that means he agrees.
Well, I just want to ask, can we call it Mad GPT at this point?
No, that's too much. You're gonna make me.
We got Linda GPT, we got Matt GPT.
So hey, so I will say this: you guys actually, on ChatGPT they have the upgraded professional one. You can actually create a GPT and have it reference certain materials, and so that may actually be the case today. Check it out there, Matt. You never know. And
that is
so,
where that's where the
great
idea started to come from. Exactly. Yeah.
Obviously, this is a topic that I can speak to for hours. And I have with some colleagues and friends of mine. Matt and Mir, let me ask you guys here. Let me ask for some closing thoughts in terms of whatever you have on this topic. I think this is something that a lot of people are interested in.
Yeah. So to me, there's two things to keep in mind. One is there's a lot. It's a buzzword, right? It's a trend. Marketers are going to put AI on everything in order to get it to sell. It doesn't mean, as Mir was mentioning, right? It's been around for a while, and what people might mean by AI could be different. So it doesn't necessarily mean that you're getting something with, a real enhancement in it. So I'd be careful of buying something because it says it has AI. Additionally, or maybe separately from that, this is moving fast. It's changing week to week, month to month. It is going to change the way our businesses work. And if we're not paying attention, someone else is going to get ahead of us, right? A competitor is going to figure out how to apply this, and we're going to miss the boat. So you got to pay attention to it, read up on it, listen to webcasts, podcasts, whatever, so that you're fully knowledgeable of the current state of the possibilities of what you can do with these AI tools.
Mir?
Well, that was very well put. I think so one of the most important things to consider would be the ethnic consideration of any AI development, as we kind of try and push the boundaries of what it can do and how amazing it can get. Transparency, accountability should also be like the forefront of any AI implementation. Again, it's a very powerful tool, has unlimited potential when it comes to harnessing and tackling some of the society's more pressing issues when it comes from healthcare to even climate change these days. Endless opportunities. Stay tuned. It's, as to Matt's point, you have to stay tuned. It's ever evolving, ever changing. And what does it actually mean to you as a person, right? AI, as Matt was pointing out, you can slap that on anything these days. But what does that exactly mean to you? How can it enhance your life? I think so. That's the most important thing to look for, and also following on any and all human innovations when it comes to AI. And let's see what it does in the next 6 months, or who knows, a year. We might be having driverless cars. We already have. We probably even have like pilotless flights. I don't know if the risk is worth it, but who knows, it may.
So Matt and Mir, if people want to get in touch with you, Matt, what's the best way to get?
So you can go to our website, www.chalmersstreet.com. That's chalmerst.com. You can also certainly send me an email. I'm happy to respond to questions. We do all kinds of, development around problem solving, helping people to see the problems in their area, streamline their processes from what they find, do good analysis. And so if you've got any questions on that, if you need any help that way, Matt Kroll, all together, MattKroll at chalmersstreet.com. That's again, chalmerst.com.
And Mir, for you?
Feel free to kind of get in touch with me via LinkedIn and also via the Chalmers St website, as Matt was pointing out. My specialization is more about data sciences and the back end of these algorithms. Like, how do they combine? Like, how do they work? Like, how is it made? More like, so that's where I'll be more than happy to share my feedback.
Fantastic, guys. Well, thank you guys for stopping by today. This is obviously a topic that's near and dear to my heart. I love. Yeah. And to your point, we'll make sure we take a look at those AI enhanced diapers and see how they really improve our lives. Right.
Absolutely.
All right, guys.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thanks for the time.
Well, Dennis, that's another podcast in the can. I know that a lot of you all want to know how to get in touch with us. Dennis, what's the best way for folks to be able to get a hold of you?
Yeah, email's by far the best for me. It's Dennis J, so DENNISJ at worksolution.com. And that's WORX solution, no S at the end, so solution.com. Benny, how about you?
Yeah, same thing. Get a hold of me. My email address is benny@velocitytechnology.group. That's BENNY at velocitytechnology.group. Also, for me and Dennis, you can find us on LinkedIn. Look for us on LinkedIn. Our Work From Home with Two Guys is on LinkedIn. And we also have a website, wfh2guys.com. Look us up. You'll find all the past episodes and some little bits of information that maybe we don't get a chance to talk to on the podcast. We put it out there too as well.
And definitely share us with your friends and people in your network.
Absolutely. Let us know what we can do to make this podcast your podcast. Give us some ideas. And if you'd like to be a guest, let us know. We'll talk to you guys soon.
You've been listening to WFH with Two Guys. We'll see you next time.